Welcome back to the Hypervision podcast. This is episode 3. If you're tuning in from last week's episode of Relationship Advice with Michael, I'm sorry, but I'm sure you learned a lot. This week is going to be a completely different speed, I think. We're going straight back into sports. We got Super Bowl coming up, so we're going to do a little bit of a preview on that, and then we'll see where that takes us, whether or not we come down a rabbit hole of rants on our teams or other teams, how they did this year. But again, I'm your host Drew, followed up with
Noah. How we doing? Great episode last week. Happy to get back into it. Super excited.
And then we got a special guest star, my good friend.
Yes. I feel like Apollo Creed in Rocky 2 when he's coming out of the tunnel ready to beat Sylvester Stallone, aka Rocky Balboa, aka the Italian Stallion. And I think Apollo Creed loses that fight, though, if I remember correctly.
I have no idea. But as you can see, plenty of sports references already, and we're 40 seconds in. So we got a good one in store for you. For the most part, I'm going to take a back seat today and let these two talk it out, because they are a bit more of experts on football than I am. I played soccer my whole life, so I call football a different sport. But also they analyze the sport better than I do and know more on the media side and what went on behind the scenes. So I think whoever wants to just take it, I'll let them go.
Noah, well, question number 1, who's your Super Bowl pick? And you don't tell me you're going with Cincinnati just because it's a hometown type.
Oh, you know what? Let's start this off right here. I'm getting into this. Tell me I'm not stupid whenever I root against, I'm a Browns fan, hardcore Browns fan, right? Mm-hmm. Tell me I'm not stupid whenever I root against the team. And all these, Browns fans, my friends and all this, I'm sure they'll listen to this podcast. They're all like, "Oh, I'm happy for the Bengals. It's great. It's great for the NFL. It's fine. But I'm not going to root for them. They're a division rival. And no, I don't want to see Joe Burrow hoist the Lombardi trophy. Like, no, I don't. But is it cool? Yeah, it's cool. Sure. But no, man. So I have the Rams. To answer your question, the Rams. Sorry, I went off a little mini rant there, but I had to get it off my chest.
I'm glad that you bring that up, because it's a feeling that I've had being a Browns fan myself. I've separated it. I'm happy for the Cincinnati fans. I'm annoyed that the Bengals are in the Super Bowl. And the reason being is that there's no way the Bengals started their rebuild before Cleveland and should hoist the Lombardi trophy. And everyone's like, "Oh, the Bengals haven't played for anything meaningful since the 80s. It's a great story." No one's denying that it's not a great story. Joe Burrow in the Super Bowl, he's a great personality, seems like a stand-up guy in all his interviews. But there's 2 things I hate. I'm happy for the real Cincinnati Bengals fans. I'm annoyed with these people that are Cincinnati adjacent, and all of a sudden they're talking about icy Burrow and all this stuff. It makes me aggravated. But the main thing that annoys me is that I have this insatiable jealousy of what's going on in Cincinnati, because it's exactly what I wanted the Browns to do and the way I wanted them to go about their rebuild. It's especially when the Browns have Nick Chubb. I don't want to go down this pathway again, but I don't think Jamar Chase, he's a quality player, really great receiver. But I don't think Cincinnati has anyone in terms of value and talent on par with what Nick Chubb brings to the Browns. And the fact that Cincinnati, with a shaky O-line and at times a suspect defense, has managed to win games really just made me feel extremely jealous, because I'm looking at what the Browns did in their rebuild. And I'm like, why couldn't you just do what Cincinnati did? You get a big arm quarterback that's just going to throw it to an uber talented receiver and hope for the best.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with yes, I've said that a million times. It's really just jealousy, and it really just sucks to see. It just sucks to see how quickly they did it. I mean, a couple years ago, it's just insane.
The thing that's wild to me is like watching Baker light up Cincinnati anytime he's playing them in a meaningful game. And then all I asked from Ryan Tannehill in my year covering the Titans was for Ryan Tannehill to beat Cincinnati. Couldn't do that. And then I felt like part of the 1% where I was rooting for Patrick Mahomes and his horrible brother and his irreverent significant other. I was like, I kind of want the Chiefs to win, but now that the Bengals are in the Super Bowl, I'm like, I'm happy for the fans. I'm so jealous that it makes me just want to see the Rams win. One, because it'd be cool to see Odell get his ring. And I had an interesting conversation, and I wanted to ask you how you feel about Odell, because I've come around on that, and I'll touch on that later when we get there. And I want to see the Rams win, but I'm at a loss because I'd have to reverse pivot on all my Matthew Stafford stuff I've had over the last decade about how this guy won't win you big games. And so it's like, either admit that I'm wrong, which I hate to do, or be extremely jealous as Joe Burrow has a Super Bowl before me after everything I've suffered through.
Yeah, absolutely. The Odell thing, the Odell thing has come and gone. At this point, I'm like, I'd rather him get his ring than try and argue whether, it was Baker's fault or Odell's fault and, his dad got involved in all this, crap. It's like, it's fine.
That was one with I came around on Odell where I was like, it'd be nice to see him get his ring. Mm-hmm. And people are like, oh, Baker was trying to ruin Odell. And I don't think that was the case. I think Baker is bad and Odell was bad in Cleveland. Like, let's be real. Like, Odell was bad and Baker was bad, and they were just bad together. And sometimes you get those situations where quarterbacks don't click with wide receivers regardless of how talented the wide receiver is. And we know Baker doesn't click with many, okay? And so it's when everyone was like, oh, Baker was trying to ruin Odell, I don't think Baker was sitting out there like, let me not throw to him. It was, one, Baker struggled in terms of talent level, ability to read the field. And two, if you're not throwing to Odell 5-6 times a drive, he's going to get pissed off and start quitting on his routes. And that's true. And what people also fail to realize is the Rams have an offense that puts up gaudy numbers in the pass game. So Odell's going to have some inflation because Matthew Stafford has license to throw the ball 50 times if he wants to. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's one of those perfect marriages, like Odell going to LA. He never wanted to be in Cleveland anyway. I was reading the reports after he left about how he felt about Cleveland being traded here. And, to the public, he tells everyone, like, he's happy to be there because what can you say? But at the same time, it takes a special type of guy to want to play in Cleveland. It takes a Nick Chubb type of guy. And for better or for worse, it takes a Baker type of guy, that type of disposition of me against the world. Now, Baker doesn't have the talent to say that, but his heart is in the right place,
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
And so in this Super Bowl, it's one where I feel conflicted because I definitely wanted the 49ers to beat the Rams. Like, one, I think Jimmy Garoppolo is so unfairly maligned by everybody. And I'm not going to beat my drum on intangibles. But all the guy's done was take the 49ers to the Super Bowl and then lose in the conference championship game. Like, he beat Aaron Rodgers twice. At what point do you just value winning, And so I did want to see Jimmy G get a chance to shut everybody up, but he folded.
Well, he's already got 2 rings. He's got 2 rings already.
But that's thanks to Tom Brady.
He is the most decorated quarterback in the league now.
And so I wanted the 49ers, and I really love Debo. Debo is a special, special guy. And everyone was on his case talking about, him crying or whatever. I like that. It reminds me of when Embiid cried after losing to the Raptors. What was it, 2019? Where that to me, that shows a guy that gave it everything. Mm-hmm. And I mean, Debo played running back, receiver. He could do it all, and he gave it
quarterback even.
Exactly. And so that I wanted the 49ers in it, but if not the 49ers, then I want the Rams to beat the Bengals, and I want it to be a close game. I don't know whether I'm kind of exhausted with game-winning field goals, but something, maybe a touchdown game where Joe Burrow has to go down and try to score and doesn't, something like that.
Yeah. Fair point. Drew, what you got? We're kind of taking this over, but let's get your thoughts.
I mean, this is what I want. I want you guys to take over. See, I don't really know if I care either way on who wins, because I've looked at it like either way, like it's a monumental Super Bowl for you've got the Bengals, who, no offense to any Bengals fans listening, you've been a bottom 15 team for like the past 15 years. And they're somehow in the Super Bowl now, out of nowhere. You won 3 games last year, now boom, Super Bowl. And then you've got on the other end Matthew Stafford, who spent his entire career on the worst NFL team in history, probably. He actually didn't. He was the quarterback the year they went 0-16, right?
Matthew Stafford?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been a part of the worst team in history. And now he is just the first year he's beaten Tom Brady. He's going to the Super Bowl. Either way, it's a monumental thing of people that have literally just seen nothing their entire career, and then they get a shot at glory. So I'm happy either way.
Yeah.
It's a win either way.
I will say I'm probably leaning more towards the Rams because I don't know any Rams fans. I know lots of Bengals fans. It'll be annoying to see people close to me win when I, as a Packers fan, have just lost at the same stage for the last 4 years straight. So,
yeah, that's brutal.
I don't want to have to hear it from other people. It's easier on myself if the Rams win.
And is there some jealousy in your mind, like when you think I think the Packers beat the Rams personally.
Packers, in the regular season, they beat all of them but the Chiefs in the conference championships.
And so that's what I think about. It's like, if you give Aaron Rodgers that game instead of the 49ers, I think he wins it. But I don't know what it is about the divisional round for Aaron Rodgers and his Packers. It just can't do anything.
Normally it's the championship. Normally they get that bye week and then they win in the divisional round barely. And then it's just like, oh, we're supposed to win here too.
I don't know. I don't think the bye helps either. The bye
it hurts
more than
it does. You can see it clearly. It's almost every single year. The year they won the Super Bowl in 2010, they didn't get a bye week. They went all the way through.
It's been that long.
Yeah, 2010 they won the Super Bowl, and everyone's like, "All right, this is the dynasty. Never been back."
Yeah,
lost 4 NFC. He's lost 4 NFC championships since then.
He's basically Jerry West.
That'll be an interesting situation too when that happens with him in the offseason, but that's a whole nother story.
Boy, I'm still ready for
he goes wherever Adams goes.
Chargers. Well, I will get this, and I would pay to see Devontae Adams with Justin Herbert.
That would be special. Absolutely special.
Because I think Mike Williams is a free agent this season, so I think they're going to need another receiver anyway. So they're going to go in for him, I assume. Because then, this doesn't relate to the Super Bowl at all, but I would say, like, coming up out of the AFC, you've got Joe Burrow, Lamar, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Justin Herbert. Those are the top 5 coming up. And then whoever, maybe the Steelers pick up, we'll see. But the young quarterbacks are already established. Lamar already has Mark Andrews, and he's got a speedy receiver that can't really catch, but he's speedy, so it doesn't matter every once in a while. Joe Burrow already has his trio. Mahomes already has his deadly duo. Josh Allen has Diggs.
But how many more years? But think about this. How many more years of elite Tyreek are we actually going to get in Kansas City?
I'm saying, even if it's 1 or 2 out of that, like, you still get another 2 shots at this. And then Josh Allen with, I can't remember the guy's name ever. The guy that went off.
Gabriel Davis?
Yeah, Gabriel Davis. You've got him now. And Dawson Knox was pretty good. And then you get Justin Herbert with Keenan Allen, Eckler, and you give him Devontae Adams. Those 5 teams will go head-to-head every single day for that spot.
And it's funny because 2 of those quarterbacks from the FC North. And I'm curious to hear your thoughts, Ian. Do you think that the Steelers are going to get a quarterback that is going to be one of those top guys again?
Well, it could be Russell Wilson. So imagine you have Russell Wilson, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Baker.
I'm just saying, like, it would just be the Browns' luck for the Steelers to get somebody either that's already established or draft somebody that's like that becomes something. That just be their luck and the Browns' luck, and I don't know. It just seems like it's almost too good. I don't know, but
well, I think we talked about this before off podcast one time when Ian had his rant about the Browns.
Great day, by the way. Love it.
It was like the people you want to play for. You want to play for Mike Tomlin, 100%. A quarterback wants to play for him. They don't want to play for Kevin Stefanski over Mike Tomlin.
Stefanski's comically boring, and that's the problem. There's no. That guy could not convince me to make a sandwich for him. Like I need somebody that's going to, inspire me, make me want to run through a wall. I need the coach from Any Given Sunday, where he was like, we're 4 minutes from the biggest battle of our professional lives. Like, and don't get me wrong, Stefanski, his first year was good. Last year was and that's typically how it goes for a lot of these offensive guys. Like, once teams get film on their playbook, they're not as exciting or exotic, or in their play calling isn't as fancy because, we have film on this now. It's that flea flicker play. It doesn't go for 30 yards. It doesn't have that explosive effect. So I'm interested in not only who the Steelers get at quarterback, but to relate it to the Browns, what the Browns do with Stefanski, and not him getting canned, but does somebody else need to take over the play calling? Because last year's play calling was awful. I mean, it was abhorrent. It was embarrassing. And you have this guy in big games. He wants to line up in Wildcat and do too much. And so if we're weighing it and you're a quarterback and you're like, Browns or Steelers, Stefanski or Tomlin, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
Had a losing season in his career.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just I don't know. It just sucks to think about. It really does. I mean,
let's just okay. So I'll reel you back in. Head to head, how do we feel about the Super Bowl? Head to head, where are we feeling it?
Again, my pick is the Rams. I think the Rams win, and I think Super Bowl MVP is going to be Matthew Stafford. I think he's going to put up some numbers.
Do you think Aaron Donald has a shot?
I think that D line might have a field day potentially.
I mean, because the last defensive player to win MVP was Von Miller. He's back. He's not the same guy, but he's back.
But the Bengals O-line is so bad.
I'm
thinking about that front four that the Rams. That's scary.
They only gave up
Joe Burrow going to survive a game?
They only gave up 1 sack last game, right, against the Chiefs.
Yeah, but that's the Chiefs. This is the Rams.
If the Titans can get 9 sacks on them, the Rams should have a lot more. Like, I don't know. That's going to be huge. That's going to be big to watch. Sure.
But the thing is, if Joe Burrow has his annoying scampering for 8 yards, evading tacklers, like he has Vaseline on his jersey, like if he has that going, that's what'll
make it a good game.
Yeah, if Joe Burrow is mobile in the pocket, because I think the Rams are gonna get pressure all day. Like, that won't even be a question. It comes down to what Joe Burrow does with the pressure in his face, and that will decide if the Bengals have a shot in the game, to me, because I'd pick the Rams offense over the Bengals offense any day.
Unless they're playing the Ravens.
Also, do you think that Cincinnati is kind of fortunate in their run? Like, if you look at the teams they've played outside of the Chiefs, and beating the Chiefs in Arrowhead was big, but even still, like, we talked all year how the Chiefs weren't the Chiefs, and everyone was waiting for them to turn it on, and they kind of ho-hummed their way into a higher seed. But it's like, we talked all year how the Chiefs weren't the Chiefs. So the Bengals didn't play the Chiefs at the peak of their powers. They played the Titans, and you played Ryan Tannehill. Okay, like let's be real about that. Like playing Ryan Tannehill is like getting 2 bye weeks, and then they had to play the Raiders.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about that run, if you think about the run and really look at it, there's no one where you'd say them like they didn't have that game where you're like, okay, I can't believe they beat this team. Because all year, though the Titans were a 1 seed, they looked very beatable every Sunday. I mean, they lost to the Texans, you know? And so it's like the Bengals run, it's special, but they've also been fortunate to play teams that aren't exactly up to snuff in a way. And
I would agree with that mostly, but also they came back from 21-3 on the Chiefs, which is still at that point. That's been the
staple. No, but that's been the staple of the Chiefs all season. Mahomes like sucks at playing quarterback in the second half of games. And so it's
also Mahomes clutched up like 5 or 6 games this year.
But I'm saying it's like the Chiefs have not been the Chiefs. And then, yeah, they came back. And that I'm not denying that was a big game, but I don't think it's as big a game as we think it is when you look at the Chiefs' 17-game backlog of how average they've been, but lucked out in 1-possession games. And, you know, when you look at the Bengals run in context, it's great. It's great for Cincinnati. Like a Super Bowl is a Super Bowl, however you win it. But they definitely had some lucky stars fall their way, is what I should say. And their kicker does not miss.
That's going to happen every year.
Sometimes you get those years where a team just dominates and you can see that they're just better than everyone. And I don't know. When you get to your conference championship game by way of playing the Titans, it's hard for me to respect you. Like, it's that. I think that's the main point is like they had to beat the Titans to get there. And so I'm like, okay, you got there, but you got to play Ryan Tannehill.
I mean, you can only beat who's in front of you. That's the thing. It's not their fault. That's how they lined up. They won their division.
No, it's not. It's not their fault. But am I still gonna take away irrational credit? Yeah, 100%. You got to play Ryan Tannehill.
If they end up winning on whatever day that is, I don't know, the 13th or something.
Mm-hmm. It's the 13th.
It's valid then, I'd say.
Yeah, if you win the Super Bowl, then you're the champion. No one can tell you anything. If they lose the Super Bowl, I'm like, they shouldn't have been there in the first place. And so you see my circular logic here. It won't make sense till it does.
Yeah, that's fair, I guess.
And so, Noah, who are your picks? So you said the Rams. Who's your Super Bowl MVP?
I'll go with Cooper Kupp.
Oh, best receiver in the league. That guy's an animal. Always open.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what confuses me. Like, how is he just always open? Every time I watch the Rams, you're like, Cooper Kupp is open again. Like, you don't, and you know it's a coach is telling them like Cooper Kupp, you know what he's gonna do, and yet he just does it, and he's open.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can see it with how many receiving yards and touchdowns.
Oh boy. Let's see. Let's go 130 with 2 tuds. It's got to be something a little special.
Whew.
So I'm gonna cut in here. Are we doing the normal thing of we see the Super Bowl, we see 2 like explosive offenses, and we assume 55-48 final score? But in reality, we all know the Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl always kind of underwhelms. It's very rare we get a good one.
Yeah,
sorry.
I don't know what's the over under right now.
Another one of I'll check right here. I got it pulled up.
I know the Rams were favored by 4, but I wonder what the over under is. My guess is probably high 40s, low 50s, maybe. I don't know.
So the line is set at Rams by 4.5, over under 48.5.
I'd take it. But I think it would be remiss if we talked about the NFL and didn't talk about Brian Flores and his litigation against. I think it's him. I don't know if it's him versus the league or him versus a specific general manager. Either way,
I saw he sued 3 other teams, right?
Yeah,
the Dolphins,
pretty sure
Broncos, and somebody else, right?
Giants.
I would assume Giants.
Yeah.
And I find it in a way because for so long I've been gaslit by the NFL, where they're like, "Oh no, you know, there's no racism in the hiring practices." Yet every year you see the numbers, and it's like 1 or 2 black head coaches for a sport that is overwhelmingly black. And then I find it hilarious when this lawsuit comes out and you see the trolls on Twitter that they're like some guy with a neck beard, and they're like, I don't know how there's any racism when there is 1 black head coach in the league, and in total between coordinators there is 11 black coaches. And it's like, out of every offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, head coaching position, and you're going to tell me, not counting the 1 head coach, there's 11, and you don't see a problem, a systemic problem. And I've been interested in these discussions surrounding the Rooney Rule and how, since basically teams don't have any repercussions, they just bring in a black head coach to fulfill their quota. And we've known that it goes on, and we know that this is how the NFL does black coaches. But it's crazy that Brian Flores could never coach again for the sole reason that he's one of the people willing to call the NFL out on their BS. And how you can have so many former players that are black, so many black people around football, yet the white elites that run football never want to hire black coaches. And it was one of those things where I sent off like 6-7 tweets in a row talking about it, because there was some vindication that, you know, like I wasn't crazy for what I was seeing. And I think that it's going to be an interesting backdrop to the Super Bowl and to see what happens. And see how the NFL deals with it and how they answer those questions in the media week leading up.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's been interesting to see, you know, all the teams have said, you know, we don't believe it. We deny all these allegations and whatnot. You know, something needs to change. Obviously, the Rooney Rule kind of is just there. You know, it was last year. Like now they're like incentivizing, like, here, we'll give you draft picks if, you know, like the Browns. The Browns are going to get a couple of third round draft picks because one of their assistant general managers got hired by the Vikings to be their general manager. And it's like, okay, you know, so there's something definitely needs to be changed there. I feel like Brian Flores should be a coach. I just really believe that.
I know.
So, I mean,
so hopefully, especially seeing what happened in Miami and how so much of it, it's like the front office wanted him to believe in Tua. He's coaching Tua every day, telling them this guy doesn't have it. Then the owner and GMs feel some type of way. And it really goes to show, like, you can fire a coach for winning you games. And it's something that I talk a lot to my buddy covers the Cowboys about. And he was like, that's what they do. That's how they, especially you see it with black coaches and black quarterbacks. That's where you see it the most, where they want, you know, the tanking team will hire the black coach and then expect them to overperform. And then as soon as the team starts winning, as soon as the team has the right pieces to compete, they'll fire the black coach and bring in their guy. And when you look at the talent the Dolphins had, and for Flores to get them to 9 wins last season, I don't know what more you could want out of a guy, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And the Dolphins are going to suffer. I mean, I still don't understand how like guys like Urban Meyer last so long. The guy should have gotten fired a 1 month in.
That would
He
ruin my
lasts so
fantasy
long.
season.
And then Brian Flores just wins games and he gets fired for it.
Takes a sorry Dolphins team to 9-8 2 years in a row.
And what was shocking is when you were reading the stories that were coming out, and they're talking about they will pay you an extra $100,000 if you lose. Like how does a coach throw a game? And you know exactly what they would do is once they start, if he would have taken that and they started losing, they would have blamed him for the losing. So it was like a lose-lose situation for him.
Yeah.
Like damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, I agree. And like, I don't know, like I just couldn't imagine that being said to me. Like if just put yourself in the head coach's shoes and say, hey, we'll give you X amount of dollars to lose games. Like, what? Like, and like, what do you do to your like if you go into the locker room, like, how do you speak to your players like that? I mean, the players want to win. It's like, I don't know. It's just so
That's like everybody but management wants to win. And so it really goes to show like when these teams, and I think it's also an indictment on tanking in professional sports. Like the fact management can go to such lengths to lose games for higher draft picks, to me indicates that you need to change the way in which bad teams get good talent. To reward losing by getting good players just has never made sense to me.
I think I talked to that. Was this I talked to this about a couple days ago about how I enjoy the way soccer handles like how you can't really tank in Europe at least.
I think you mentioned that.
Yeah. So like in Europe for soccer, you got your 20 teams in your league, and the lower you finish, the less money you get, and there's no draft either. So there's no players you can get at the end of the offseason or anything like that. So I think that's a much better way it's handled because the higher you finish, if you finish top 4, you go Champions League. You get a bigger trophy, or not a bigger trophy probably, but you get a bigger tournament, you get more money, and then you get way more opportunities for doing better. If you're crap and you see like, oh, I'm not going to make top 4 this season in America, you're going to be like, let's just lose 10 games. Let's get better picks for next year. No, that's in Europe. If you see like, oh, I'm 14th out of 20 this season, there's 10 games left. Well, if I drop these 10 games, there's a chance I even get relegated and thrown down to a worse league. So let me try to, get some momentum, get better for next year. The higher you finish, the more money you get. Whereas now in America, you're just seeing, free opportunity to get a better play. Let's just tank this game. Like, that's not the point. Like, you're out there
and
to play.
That should never be the point.
You should be there to win.
That should never be the point.
I get like it's a business, sports is a business. The teams are a business. It's a company. But why are you there?
It's interesting because sport in Europe is so cultural. And so the cities that are behind their football clubs in Europe, it's an emotional experience for them. And that, and the players feel it too. Like, we don't want to get relegated because our city will look at us differently. And those things matter in Europe versus when you look at the NFL and NBA. Like, the NBA is trying to add in a mid-season tournament to add excitement. And I'm like, if you want the league to be more exciting in the regular season, you cut down the number of games and don't incentivize losing. And all of a sudden, you'll have one of the best regular seasons you'll ever have. And the NFL, they think, adding games, TV money, that's for the – still, the NFL incentivizes losing too much. Because, you start the season 2-5. Teams typically take 2 directions. You have the teams that are like, okay, let's finish out strong. And maybe they finish, 10 and – well, now it'd be what, 10-6, 10-7, 10-7? Mm-hmm. And so – maybe that happens. Or you have the teams that are like, we're 2-5, time to mail it in. Like, there's no chance. And the teams that just mail it in at that point then get rewarded by getting to pick the best player. Like, why would the best player want to come to that culture?
Well, that team culture. You get the opportunities where you're seeing Cade Cunningham play for the Pistons. Stuff like that.
It's like, why would anyone of talent want to then go to a team that willingly lost. And then they're like, oh, they're going to save our franchise. No, tanking destroys culture. It's why I hate what Oklahoma City is doing so viscerally. Because, yeah, you may have Shea, yeah, you have Josh Giddey, but if you're going out there and you know you're not trying to put together the best roster you can because all you're thinking about is the kid you're going to draft in 2024 or 2025, by the time that kid gets there, that apathy in the culture and that losing will get to people. And it's why even try anymore? Where like it's a losing franchise. And you saw how long it took teams like the 76ers to change that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think the Brian Flores thing is also an indictment on how leagues in the Americas incentivize losing more than they incentivize winning. Because only one team can win the championship, but the rest of the league can try to get the number one draft pick.
So Ian, you cover the Mavs, correct?
Yeah, I cover the Mavs.
Okay. How was that? I haven't really talked to you about that. How was like? Let me ask you this: How'd you get into it? First of all,
how did I get into it?
Yeah, I'm just curious.
It's the story I like to tell is that when I was covering the Titans, it kind of led me to write about basketball. Because I was at SI at the time working with a guy named David Beauclair. And in covering the Titans, I ran into the owners of A to Z Sports Dallas, the company that I work for. And because they're primarily based in Nashville, but they were opening up this Dallas portion of the website. And so they had a Cowboys writer, and they needed someone to cover the Mavericks, the second most important team in Dallas, in my opinion. And they had read some of my work at SI, and they liked me enough. And so they're like, oh, your family's in the North Texas area. Would you want to do this for us? And at the time, it was during the pandemic. So I knew the guys at Mavs PR. I sent them an email about, hey, can I get into some of these Zoom press conferences? And they started, letting me into them. And from that point on, I kind of was covering the Titans and the Mavs at the same time. And then when I graduated undergrad, I started doing the Mavs full time and with more things in person this year. It's taken up a good amount of my time, but it's kind of how I fell into it more than anything else. And I'm blessed to get to watch basketball and make money and write about it. So I think 12-year-old Ian would kill to have this job.
Cool. That's awesome. I was just curious and really talked about that. So
yeah,
awesome.
I will say though, sports writing isn't all that it's cracked up to be, because companies just care about your analytics, your clicks, your page views. And so that's why you have a lot of these sites that have these ridiculous headlines, like, because everyone's trying to get their page views up. So the next time they look for a contract, they can say, hey, this is what I do. This is the stuff. These are the numbers I get. These are my constant readers. And I think it's watered down the product a bit, but if you do it right, you can really figure it out. And I think I'm kind of hitting my stride for doing this for now a season and a half. I've kind of hit this stride where, you have your group of consistent readers and you have a little community. It's a lot of fun.
It's cool. It's awesome.
And so, yeah. And you just get to go to basketball games for free. That's the best part. I'm not going to lie. Like, the Sixers are coming to town on Friday. Well, tomorrow. I don't know when No, not Ben Simmons. Hopefully Embiid, though. And so that should be fun if we manage to get out of the snow here in Dallas, Texas. So
you guys got
yeah, we had freezing rain for a few hours. So there's like a 2-inch layer of ice under like the 4 inches of snow.
I was trying to go to talk about Jameson right before this. And he was texting me. He's like, yeah, my car's stuck in my driveway. And I was like, oh, yeah, don't worry about it. We can just go tomorrow or something like that. And then like 2 minutes later, so I already put my microwave meal in there. And I was getting it ready. And he texted me. He's like, all right, I'm on my way. I'm like, what? Insane.
I was like driving to the coffee shop blind just to get there to find out it was closed.
Yeah, then when he was on his way to my house, he was like, "Hey, can you call them, see if they're actually open?" So obviously, I called Taco Bell, and obviously, no one answered. But I was like, "So that doesn't really help me because I feel like even if there's a whole squad in there, no one's answering that phone."
No, they don't take online orders. Cooper.
All right. So we got the prop bets for the Super Bowl. I'm pulling these up right now. So we got Joe Burrow passing yards over under 275.5 yards.
I'll take the over.
Wait, what was that again? I was watching a the Pro Bowl is happening right now, right? And they did a fastest man challenge.
Wait, it is?
They're doing like the skill stuff, like not the actual game, but like the skill stuff.
That thing really fell off then.
No, so they did sorry to interrupt here, but they did a fastest man challenge, and they had, let me see, hold on. This is hilarious.
I hope this is a terrible list of people.
So they had, I'm trying to find, so I see it here, but it's not, let me see, hold on. I would assume it'd be here. Micah Parsons won, but like Tyreek Hill was in it, Nick Chubb was in it.
Tyreek lost?
There's no way he was. Okay, there's no way. Right? Okay, so I'll send you this, Drew. But there's Micah Parsons has his shirt off. He's the only one with his shirt off. Tyreek's in a sweatshirt and sweatpants. He did not take that seriously.
Was this televised?
Well, I saw a video earlier, like Debo pulling up to it, and that dude looked like he wanted to go right back home.
I'm trying to find.
Dude, who cares about the Pro Bowl?
I know, right? It's hilarious.
I want someone to go into those Pro Bowl events and try super hard just to see what will happen.
Parsons apparently did. There. Yeah.
Guys like hit sticking in the Pro Bowl game.
I feel like a while back, like back when it was actually AFC versus NFC, it used to be actually pretty competitive. Like when it was red versus blue with all those jerseys. A little bit more than it is now. I don't think I've ever, like 5 years now.
I don't think I've ever watched a full Pro Bowl, like sat down to watch it.
I think I used to a lot with my parents, and that's probably why I think of it higher than most people do. It's just because I watch them all the time. But when I was a kid, I was like, it's the Pro Bowl. It's all the best players. Because this was also before the Pro Bowl was before the Super Bowl. And all of the players could play in it. And
I don't understand why you...
Yeah, they don't neglect the players that did the best this year. Made it to the final game.
So
I don't know why.
Yeah.
So it was Micah Parsons, Tyreek Hill, Nick Chubb, and Trevon Diggs.
And out of all of them, Parsons won, huh?
Parsons was the only one that would look like he was tryharding.
He's probably the slowest one.
He had his shirt off. And look at Chubb. Chubb's got a T-shirt and shorts on, dude. Oh my god. He's like, I need to save my legs. That's all I'll be doing next year, just running.
Well, when you have Baker.
Yeah.
What's the fastest man challenge?
Yeah, it was just like a 40-yard dash.
It was like a skill showdown. They're having all these tonight. Like,
they're trying to
are they televised anywhere?
Yeah, that's on ESPN.
I'm not watching that. I'm just gonna act like they're not televised.
So, what was that again? Sorry, Drew, I cut you off there. What was the
Joe Burrow
the bet?
Over under 275.5.
Joe Burrow under
over under 275.5.
Oh, 275. What did you say, Ian? You said the over?
Yeah, I took the over.
I'm with him on that.
Yeah, I could see it. I
don't think they went on to try to run it through that line.
Micah Parsons is taking this entirely too seriously.
Did you already I can see it in your glasses? You pulled it up.
Like, it is not this serious. Dude is like stretching.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's find some other fun ones on here. We got Jamar Chase to score a touchdown, plus 115. How does that work? Plus 115 and plus 137. What's like the harder odds there?
So you want the you want the plus. Like the plus is like what's not gonna happen. Like if it's like minus 200, like
okay, so Cooper Cup is minus 200 to score a touchdown.
Oh, okay. So they're saying that that's more than likely going to happen.
Okay, so then it's Jamar Chase plus 115 and Odell plus 137 for a touchdown.
Ooh, give me Odell. I like that.
Bro, Micah Parsons is a goon. He was like celebrating after he won and everything. This guy.
All right, no, this is the real big money, big ticket item, the coin toss. Let's make our predictions right now.
Tails never fails.
I'm going heads.
See,
Sorry, go ahead.
Actually, let's see if I can find history of the NFL Super Bowl coin toss.
Didn't the Chiefs, whenever they had their past two games, one with the Bengals and with the Bills, didn't because they were home both times, so that means the away team gets to pick, right? Like whether it's heads or tails. I'm pretty sure both teams said tails. No.
No, they said heads.
Oh, did they?
I'm telling you, when you're playing football in the backyard, you always go tails. For some reason, tails is, I don't know. I feel like tails lands more, even though that's not real.
It's like technically you're right. Out of the Super Bowl coin toss results, heads 26, tails 29. The longest streak for heads is 5, though. The longest streak for tails is 4 when it happened 3 different times. The Cowboys have won the most coin tosses. They've won 6. And then the Niners on 5, Dolphins on 4, and then Raiders, Patriots, Seahawks have all won 3.
Cowboys, they really used to be a dynasty. That's crazy.
Last year's was heads. Kansas City won the toss and lost the Super Bowl. I think only 2 I can see. 3. Seattle, when they played Denver, won the toss and the game. Baltimore won the toss and the game, and Green Bay won the toss and the game. So did New Orleans. So I can see 4, 5. I think there's less than 10. The team that have won the toss have won the game.
I wonder why that is. Is there any correlation?
You want to lose lately in like recent times. You want to lose the toss because the last time it happened was when Seattle beat Denver.
Tails never fails.
I'm gonna stick with heads. I'm saying heads.
Okay. Want to come back to this video?
No, what'd you say?
After. I'll go tails.
Okay.
I like tails.
Yeah. I don't know if I don't come back to any more football videos because my playoff prediction was terrible. Part of mine was, I wanted to have different picks than Noah the whole time. Not the whole time, but like I don't have the same brackets.
Mm-hmm.
So he picked Bills, so I picked Patriots. That went well. Cardinals and Rams. I even contradicted myself in that I said I see the Cardinals losing the first round or winning the Super Bowl. And then I had the Cardinals win the first round still, and then right out in the next round in my bracket. And I said that out loud. I was like, I know I said if the Cardinals win the first round, they win the whole thing, but they're losing to the Packers if they play them. And then I had the Packers going all the way. I had the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Did I have Bengals Chiefs AFC Championship? Or would I have had
I think you had Titans. I
had Titans.
I don't know for sure though. I know I had Titans, that's why, but
man, if I had Titans, I'd be upset with myself. But I had Rams out first round. Because I said in that I said I see the Rams as the best team in the league, but I don't see them clicking in the playoffs because they didn't click at all in the regular season, really. And I think that's a valid point. They were one of the teams that actually got it done in the playoffs. The Packers clicked the entire regular season besides week 1, which I count as a preseason game because Rodgers decided not to show up in preseason. But the Rams didn't really click that much in the regular season. And then they decided that they're the best team in the league again.
Well, that's what happens when you got a team full of veterans. They just know when to turn it on.
Yeah.
But these NFL playoffs have been fun. They've been fun.
Oh, it's been an insane playoffs.
Oh, yeah, it's been really, yeah.
Besides the wild card there, I think the last like 6 games, it's maybe 8 games have been decided by 1 score. Ever since the wild card, at least.
Yeah.
I think every single game is a 1-score game.
It's pretty
insane. That divisional weekend, I don't know if I'm over that yet.
It'll go down in history.
It has to. the Rams, not the Rams, the Chiefs and Bills capping off that weekend was perfection.
One of the best games I've ever seen.
That was the cherry on top to the weekend.
It just sucked that, it sucked that Josh Allen didn't get the football. And I think that if
the Bengals proved it's possible, though.
But if the same thing would have happened in that Bengals game, I think the NFL changes the overtime rule to the college rules.
I agree. Because now, because they stopped them. So now it's like, oh, you can still win whenever, they get the ball,
But it makes sense to just have both quarterbacks get an opportunity to score.
Yeah, I'm with it.
Like, just give both QBs a shot. Like, no one's saying it has to be like college where you line up at the 25 or 20 or something like that. Yeah. But just give both QBs a chance.
I'm still all in on just a field goal shootout, soccer style.
Just like penalty kicks?
It's best of 5. After 5 rounds, it's sudden death.
You know how intense that would be?
Once you get through 5, once you get through 5, you either move back a little bit or you put the punter on it.
Because then it incentivizes drafting kickers and all that.
Because in soccer, they move through the whole lineup. They go through their 5 people. It's a different person every time.
Mm-hmm.
This one, it's either all on the kicker or you just start going down the roster. After each kick, you change persons. See who can kick a field goal. Imagine the kicker misses the first one.
That's like the day where the Panthers were doing field goal tryouts before the game.
Yeah.
Oh, what a disaster season for Carolina. That's embarrassing.
Hey, they got Ben McAdoo.
Oh yeah, I like that hire, honestly.
You do? Okay. It's gotten criticized, but
I like it. I like it. I think rule's a disaster, but there's is it bad? I'm a believer in the things that people don't believe in. Like I like to be contrarian sometimes. Like everyone loved Rule, I hated it, and I feel vindicated that things have been a disaster for him. And now I like this hire. We'll see what happens. I think it comes down to quarterback play, though.
Yeah, I mean that division's wide open now. So
the GOAT gone.
Saints lost their coach. That's huge.
Yeah, they have no salary cap.
I
mean, who knows what happened to the Bucks now?
Yeah,
Falcons are okay, I guess, but so I don't know.
Yeah,
it's possible.
Couldn't Aaron Rodgers go to Tampa Bay?
Yeah, I've heard that. I don't want to talk about it.
Imagine how weird that would be if Aaron Rodgers followed where Tom Brady played.
I don't think he can, right? There's no way he could do that.
His ego would not let him.
No.
Mm-hmm.
But Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers go to Tampa Bay, win a ring in Tampa Bay, and they're just calling them, "Oh, you follow Tom Brady's coattails."
I don't want to see that. There's 4 teams I don't want to see Rodgers at. There's the Niners. I don't want to see him there. Maybe 5. We'll see when I get there. So there's the Niners, Bears, Vikings. I don't care about the Lions. I don't care if he goes there. So Bears, Vikings, Steelers, and Bucks, and probably Patriots. Those are the teams I would probably skip the NFL season if that happens. I would just wouldn't watch. Anywhere else, I don't really care.
I don't blame you.
We'll see.
All right, so to close this out, we got our predictions. Let's just early on, next year's Super Bowl winner. What are we going for?
Oh, next year's Super Bowl winner?
Early, bold predictions. Who's winning next year?
I think the Chargers make some noise, man.
I think if they get Devontae, it's got to be them.
Because they've felt like a year away for 2 years now, and I think next year's going to be it.
When the Chargers were actually in the playoff picture, I always saw them as they can literally beat anyone they play. I feel like they're the Bengals from this year. They can beat anyone they play if they get their stuff going that day.
I'm going to lock in my Chargers pick.
I won't copy you. I'll think. I'm just Bills. I'm going to say Bills.
Okay.
I think Josh Allen got enough. He's done with it. It depends. I don't know their offseason situation, what they're heading into free agents wise, but just looking at their team right now, and if they actually get better in the offseason, I say they got it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. They lost their offensive coordinator, but
or if the Steelers get Rodgers, I might even go them.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I don't know. I don't know how that works out. I don't know. I mean, I would love it for it to be the Browns, but I just don't want to be disappointed. So
don't get your hopes up. We still have Baker.
Yeah, I know. Colts? I don't know.
With Carson Wentz, the disaster waiting to happen.
I mean, Jonathan Taylor is just an absolute animal, but
Carson makes me wince.
Carrying.
Carson makes me wince.
They need a couple of receivers before they can do that, I think. T.Y. Hilton's just non-existent, and then Michael Pittman.
Probably be Jaguars and 49ers.
Oh, God.
Jaguars, Niners. Hey, I mean, Blake Bortles led them to an AFC championship.
Do you know how boring it would be to watch a team like Jacksonville in the Super Bowl?
Against a team like the 49ers? It's just going to be Debo running the ball the entire game. Trevor Lawrence will just keep throwing interceptions and then let Debo run.
No, I think the safe pick is probably the Chiefs and I don't know.
I think NFC is wide open coming up.
NFC, yeah. I mean, I feel
AFC,
like you can kind
of got your 5 quarterbacks.
NFC, yeah, I mean, you can kind of narrow it down in the AFC.
Yeah.
The NFC
actually
is tough.
I will throw in. I've said my thing on how Ravens fans have made me feel this year because they've gotten so annoying with throwing Lamar in every conversation possible while he's been hurt. I swear I've heard his name more than anything else since he got hurt. And it's fine. I mean, he's not getting put in conversations because of injuries, I guess, but whatever. If the Ravens can pick up Antonio Brown and then not gets decimated by injuries every single day, I said they have a good shot. They're my sleeper pick for next year. Because as good as they are, they've still done nothing in the playoffs.
They've had some injuries and they lost their defensive coordinator, but we'll see. Oh, before we go, we should talk about the brand new NFL team.
Oh God.
The Washington Comrades.
I don't like it just for the fact that it feels so wrong to go from. Can I say the Redskins? I can say the Redskins. I'm not going to cancel for it, right? I don't know. To go from their old name of the Redskins and then pick something centered around the U.S. Army. I think that's wrong. I think they should have thought that through. If I thought of it that quick, I don't know.
They should have stuck with the football team. I will die on that hill. Football team was a fine
It
name.
was iconic too. Just anything not related to the U.S. military after being an Indian.
Why not just be Capitals?
Well, and then the Washington Capitals, and that's already a thing, right?
Yeah, the hockey team.
That's the hockey team.
Okay, but
and then I saw people wanting them to pick the Red Wings. That's Detroit. Yeah.
I mean, there's the New York Rangers, which is hockey, and then there's the Texas Rangers.
It's true.
So it can be done. I think they just wanted Capitals to be too original.
Yeah, that's fair. It's not as bad as Cleveland. No offense.
Hey, don't hate on my baseball team.
The Cleveland Guardians.
Don't hate on my baseball team.
Bro, that's the worst one. The Guardians.
Hey, it's for the Hope Bridge, man. Come on.
Yes, the bridge. After I figured out what the meaning was behind it, I was like, okay, you know what? At least it makes sense.
I figured out the meaning. I still laugh at it.
Don't hate on the Guardians. It's a great name. I wanted the Spiders, so I'm not gonna lie.
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
Especially since it's like the OG name, but
I want to have Ian on in the future before the season, before the NFL season. We need to rant more about the Browns.
Season 2. We'll
Oh
get
my
him.
gosh.
Season 2.
Oh.
Actually,
Oh.
let's see. Winter.
I don't know if I can survive another Browns season with the amount of heart attacks I nearly had.
It's got to be done. We got the draft coming up. Then we got
that'd
the
be good.
season. Oh yeah.
I
A lot
enjoyed
of
the
receivers.
game. I enjoyed the games where Baker would throw 4 picks early, so I just knew it was over.
Oh, that Green Bay game?
Don't you mention
You're in
that.
double coverage all day.
I still haven't forgiven him.
All right. You get used to it. With your quarterback blowing stuff every once in a while. Jordan Love season. Here we come.
Have fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll wrap it up then. We've gone pretty extensive. I think we covered the Super Bowl. I'm not sure.
We covered Super Bowl adjacent.
We went real quick on the Super Bowl. And then is Gatorade betting a color this year? I don't think it is.
There should be. What would it be? Orange or blue?
I'm gonna go. It's got to be. They're gonna make it orange probably.
It's blue, man. I just have a feeling.
I'm gonna say orange.
It could be neither. It just could be like lemon lime.
It could be the lemon lime. I'm gonna go orange. That's our last locks pre Super Bowl. So we got orange for me, and I'm calling heads. And then Ian's calling tails and blue. Noah, you're calling tails and lemon lime.
Yep, I'll go with that.
All right. Those are the 2 big locks that you need to know for our Super Bowl predictions.
Study up.
Nothing else matters. The actual game, commercials, a little higher than that. Although they kind of dropped off lately. But
yep, they have.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway.
Right.
I don't know if you guys have any last statements you want to make.
No.
Covered enough.
No, I'm excited. I'm excited for this episode to drop. We appreciate Ian coming on.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely want to have him back for sure. Yeah, awesome. Great episode.
Right. Well, everyone, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully this hypes you up for the Super Bowl coming in a few days. Don't let Joe Burrow win. Peace.
Yeah. See ya.